Welcome back, numismatic stackers. Welcome. So, as you know, we have a subscriber of the month going on. I'm going to do that the first of each month. So again, we're going to honor Coral the Witch. She wanted me to do a Mercury dime episode just for her. So she wants to see my coins. So this is part of my deep stack. So I'm going to show you guys my albums. I got a couple bags and a couple nice loose ones that I got that because I like the colors. Now, one of these books was donated to me by a fan a while ago. I believe this is the secondary book. Yes, we're gonna do my primary book first. This one was completely full. I used to have a 1916D G4 graded by NGC. I purchased it, geez, a handful of years ago, $700. May have overpaid for it, but you know, I sold it and made $300 on it about a year ago. Yeah, that thing went up. I really would like to get another one, I guess. I mean, those are tough to find. Let's go look at this. All right. Wow. Look at that. I probably could upgrade that 16S, but that 16 Philly, not bad. All right. Yeah, I'll show you the bags that I found these from, because every single one of these I found them. Okay, I think except for the 21, one of these 21s I had found. One of these I purchased at a coin shop. I think it's the D that I purchased. All of these found all these. I gotta make sure that really is a 21. Let's take a look. Yeah, it is. Okay, that one I found in the book, or the bag, sorry. 20s. You know what I really like is a 31. See, I got all the San Franciscos. They're kind of a low mintage, but you know, they are what they are. If they're in really good shape, they're worth quite a premium. 25, 26, kind of low mintage. But I got a whole tube of them, see, basically right here. These are all my rare dimes that I found. They're just like S's and stuff like that. I just keep them in a separate tube. They're like, you know, the 31s and the 30s, you know, like these ones. The ones you just don't see too often. 1930, 29, 31. I like the colors on this 31. What I really would like, I know it's very nichey. I would love to get just a gem 1931S, you know, mid-state 64, full bands. Maybe the DDO. There is a double die on that. Yes, not a lot of people know about that. Does it add a premium? Not really. You know, it maybe just a touch more, but I don't think you're going to get much more for it if you're actually trying to sell it. All right, let's go. There's this thing. This thing's huge. This is 4 pages per album. Okay. 1924. Oh, 34. Sorry, 34. Yeah, you know, they're starting to get in a little better shape, aren't they? Yes, they are. Yes, in the 30s and 40s, you're usually going to get them in really nice shape. Pretty reflective on that one. Could be cleaned at one time. I'm not debating them. You know, if I find a nice example, I just threw it in there. Look at that. I love that 37S. It looks nice. 30, 38. Here we go. 39. I know it's kind of hard to see this in a certain light. Look at that. You just can't even read it. 40. Thought I had a proof in here accidentally. I think I found a proof. Yeah, lots of laughs, guys. This is just basically a die deterioration. Kind of looks like a 42/41, but it's really not. I just threw it in the fill in the space there. Okay, I'm sure everybody does that. Just put a nice coin in there. 45, yes, that's pretty nice. They're starting to tone up. That's pretty cool. 45S, that's probably a micro S. I've been looking for an S over S. I think there's an S over horizontal S. I can't remember. It's worth quite a bit to a certain collector, obviously. All right, I'm going to go to the next page. These are all Roosevelts. Yes. That one's nice. I love the colors on that 46. I'm very proud to have that for sure. 46, 47. You guys have seen them all. Look at that 48D. That, I can't believe I found that. What would you grade that? I mean, it's got a couple marks. I'd probably say a 64. And say 6 sometimes. There we go. There we go. Let's keep on going. I want to see the 55. Yeah, there was this. I had a bunch of Gem 55S's in that bag, so I picked the best one. Yeah, it's probably, again, a 60, I'm going to say 64 or better. It's not much more. There was a proof that I found. Pretty cool. 57 proof. Yeah, cool. And then it goes to 61 on this page. And then, now it gets interesting. You notice something different about that? That's actually a counterfeit. That's from a long time ago. People made coins out of tin cans, basically. That thing, it's pretty light. You can tell the details off. It's not a real one. I threw it in there because I think it's kind of a cool little antique. Not going to sell it because that's illegal. Everybody's got the 1964 Roosevelts. Yep, I think I got some Barbers I pulled out of there. Ain't cool ones. I had some toning on them. I threw them back here. See, look at that. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's kind of hard to film this whole album because it's so huge. There's a couple more 31s that I found. I liked them. I think the 31S's or something like that. But yeah, there we go. Another nice 1916. I'm going to open up the other album briefly. Well, this one, I just never got around to it, to finishing it. On the second book, I just wanted to do all the reverses for the mint marks. So you can see all the mint marks on this book. And I am missing quite a few, but not as much as you think. Otherwise, everything's pretty much full again. I definitely could fill this again if I searched a little harder. And you'll know by looking at the magnitude of dimes I still have. I just never really went through it all. I could, but you know, it is just what it is. I know I have a whole bunch of them. That's all I need to know. I'm gonna throw you guys a couple really cool ones I just have laying around. You know, see, look at this thing. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Beautiful. Yeah, I like to put them in these little flips like this, or just to highlight. You know, 'cause look at the colors. This is stuff I like to find. Nice and uncirculated. Probably not more than a 64, but, you know, I like it. It's not worth grading. That's why it's in here. Because they're maybe only like 20 bucks retail if you're graded, and the fees are just going to overtake it. This one's not bad. You know, it's definitely probably a north of a mid-state 65, somewhere in that range. What do we have? Philadelphia. Do we have... No, that's not a full bands on that, I believe. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. No full bands on that one, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Here's one's got just a hint of toning to it. 1941, Denver, and that one's definitely full bands. All right, you guys ready to see a whole bunch of Constitutional Silver coming right up? Yeah, look at this monster bag of dimes here. Look at them all. I don't want to take them out. I've taken these out before, but you know, pretty much there's every date you could imagine in there. Hey, you know, there's a story about the red paint. Yeah, I forgot what that was. I can see red quarters that were like that. That's pretty cool. Oh, geez, that shouldn't be in there, but it is. Let's take that out. But yeah, you know, there's probably over 10,000 dimes in that bag. You know, why do I stack dimes? Well, you know, when I was first doing this, you know, stacking Constitutional Silver, I kept thinking about, you know, the stuff hits the fan scenario. And I figure these things are just the perfect size for, like, bartering or anything. I'd be like, you know, back when, you know, you could get a carton of eggs for, like, $1.50, you know, that looked to me like that'd be a carton of eggs or something like that. I got another bag for you. Okay, here's the second bag. About half as much in there. You know, that could have easily over 10,000 in there. This has probably got around 4,500 to 5,000. If I wanted to, I could probably go to my friend's place and go through his coin counter and get an exact number, because it's impossible to be counting these by hand. And I don't think I got that much time on my hands, but as you can see, if I wanted to sort through and pick out certain dates, it's kind of a hassle. But this is my deep stack. I don't like to sell these. As you know, and I got stuff like this all over the place, guys. Like just little flips like this, you know. Maybe $5 too much, but you know, there's just tons of them like in here, you know. Oh, geez, there's more. Look at this one. 1945. Look at the toning on this one. Dude, nice rainbow on that. Yep, Purdue. Oh, yeah. But this one's not mint state. This one's just an EU. It's probably one I found in this bag here a long time ago. I got war nickels and a bunch of junk stuff in here. And here's some more Mercury dimes, you know. Got the Micro S, you know. Look at that, another Micro S. These are all from here. A strike through. Ooh, let's see. Have an unknown price. Yeah, look at that. The 4's almost gone on that one. Pretty cool. Yeah, this used to be a cuff link. That's not a strike through. You see, a long time ago, I didn't know. Now I do. Somebody soldered this on a cuff link. I've seen a couple of those in my day. And that's not a real 40 or 2/41. Geez, you know, 7 or 8 years ago, I didn't know any better. Or even longer than that. You know, I think I got these in 2013, 2014. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got 2 of them. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure everybody thinks they got something like that, and that's kind of the way I used to be, you know? I've learned. We all learn by watching this channel, and I learn from whatever. All the other people, content. Look at these. Here's an RPM. 41 S over S. This thing's probably pretty cool. If I could zoom in on that. Oh yeah, you can see that RPM. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's the stuff I find. D, yeah, small D. Yeah, I know, you know, that's not a variety. You know, it's just probably some dye deterioration. That's why it's smaller looking. Another Micro S. Yeah, $20 is too much, Brian. Yeah, you know, we just gotta take the flips out. Yeah, that's just constitutional, man. You know, a D over D, that's just machine doubling. That's not an RPM. You know, a lot of these just aren't RPMs. I didn't know any better back a long time ago, guys. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know, I've grown so much in the past 10 years. It's crazy. That one's actually okay. You know, just showing stuff, whatever. You know, proof reverse. So yeah, I mean, I got a boatload of dimes, man. You know, this is just my deep stack. I throw them in my safe, and in doing so, I was able to almost complete 2 albums, except for the 16D. Had to buy the 21 Denver, and you know, the rest is history. I buy some really nice slab ones. I am definitely a lover of dimes. I love Mercury dimes, and I've got plenty of barbers out of here, and actually had a couple half dimes that came out of there, sold them, flipped them, made some money. I think the oldest one I had in there was an 1838. I'm not kidding. I mean, my wholesaler has some pretty good stuff, but I cherry picked all that stuff out of there. But throw me a like. I really appreciate that, guys. And again, if you're become a subscriber of the month, you can also give me a suggestion on what sort of video you want for the month. And plus you get a free gift. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.